Jesus? Who is that?
Jesus. Jesus does not exist. That name is nowhere in the original manuscripts. You will not find the name Jesus in the New Testament, Old Testament, or the Quran.
Jesus? Who is that?
The original manuscripts were written in Aramaic, Hebrew, and Arabic. Not in Greek, not in Spanish, and not in French. The original manuscripts states Yahshua, which means Joshua, brothers and sisters. Joshua leads us to the promised land, brothers and sisters.
Jesus? Who is that?
The Greeks' supreme being is called Zeus. Zeus means Greek god of the sky, king of the gods. GE is a prefix for earth, such as geology, geography, geopolitics. There is no JE in Greek. So Zeus means god of the earth. Zeus does not exist. So Jesus, which comes from Jesus, is a myth, sisters and brothers. Jesus does not exist either. So they use that Greek translation to get you as far from Joshua the Messiah as possible, to deter you from knowing who you are and who the Messiah is.
Jesus? Who is that?
Joshua, the Messiah, is in the original Semitic manuscripts. They translated Messiah to the Greek language, which means Christos. Then they translated the word Christos to English, which means Christ. This is how they got the word Christ. However, Joshua was never in Greece, and he did not speak Greek. So, translating from the original Semitic manuscripts straight to the English language will give you Joshua, the Messiah, not Jesus Christ.
So Jesus is all a lie? The whole thing is made up? The name Jesus comes from the Greek mythology, which is all a fairy tale? Jesus never existed? This destroys the whole religion of Christianity. They got the letter J in Jesus from translating Jesus to English. It was a made-up word from the Greek translation of Jesus, meaning God of the earth. There is no letter J in Greek, so you cannot make the prefix JE in Greek. Instead, you get GE, which stands for earth in Greek. They did all of this so when you translate the word Jesus to English, you get the word Jesus, because English language makes the word form just how it sounds. And that's how they got Jesus. This was all done to deter you from the true Messiah, Joshua, the fulfillment of the Abrahamic covenant, who is also the messenger of the covenant. He had skin of burnished bronze and hair like lamb's wool. There's only one person that meets this description. So Jesus Christ is a divergent form of Joshua, the Messiah. They don't want us to know about Joshua because we are all going to have a common vision. And we are all going to unite. And they cannot have that take place, sisters and brothers.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Welcome to the Indra News, where we keep the original nation updated. My name is Nicolette Hodge. Sisters and brothers, the Indra News is here to identify who Farrakhan is using the unsealed scriptures. Now, this is important, sisters and brothers, because we use the unsealed scriptures to identify and verify everyone and everything around us. So the angel identifies who's who and what's what. That way we don't have to guess. We don't have to take anyone's word and believe what they want us to believe. All we have to do is consult the unsealed scriptures, and then we get a clear understanding of what's going on. And at that point, the unsealed scriptures puts us in touch with reality, sisters and brothers. So, Louis Farrakhan, he is possessing the Nation of Islam. He claims he is the Messiah. He claims he is the Anointed One. Okay. We are going to see if his claims are biblically substantiated. We are going to identify what the unsealed scriptures say about Farrakhan. So we're going to start off with the book of Mark, chapter 5, the demon-possessed man.
Then they came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gadarenes. 2 And when he had come out of the boat, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, 3 who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no one could bind him, not even with chains, 4 because he had often been bound with shackles and chains. And the chains had been pulled apart by him, and the shackles broken in pieces, neither could anyone tame him. 5 And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying out and cutting himself with stones. 6 When he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and worshipped him. 7 And he cried out with a loud voice and said, What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I implore you by God that you do not torment me. 8 For he said to him, Come out of the man, unclean spirit. 9 Then he asked him, What is your name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. 10 Also he begged him earnestly that he would not send them out of the country. 11 Now a large herd of swine was feeding there near the mountains. 12 So all the demons begged him, saying, Send us to the swine, that we may enter them. 13 And at once Jesus gave them permission. Then the unclean spirits went out and entered the swine. There were about 2,000, and the herd ran violently down the steep place into the sea, and drowned in the sea.
All right. So this is the situation that we're dealing with, sisters and brothers. A demon-possessed man who is beating himself up. He's working against himself. However, there is someone who is causing the demon-possessed man to go against himself. And the one possessing the man is a demon named Legion. And Legion himself identifies that there are many demons. So, the Nation of Islam is the demon-possessed man. Now, we're going to go into biology to identify what a demon is. And then we'll come back to this scripture. All right, sisters and brothers, what is a demon? Demon means half devil, half man. Now, the demons were produced from the relentless rape of our black women all throughout the Holocaust, in which these devils would force their seed into our wombs and make us carry their tar babies, their house Negroes, their black-skinned Caucasian children. And it is a basic biological fact that the father carries the seed. Therefore, you are what your father is. So in the case of the demons, they have an original or a black mother and a Caucasian father. And I say that because we don't know if Farrakhan's mother is original, but we do know she's black. So the product of that rape is that that child is half devil, half man, because they have the skin tone of their mother, but the blood and the nature of their devil father. And the rape was so consistent, sisters and brothers, that now half of the blacks in America, so 17 million out of 34 million, are demons. Half devil, half men. They are devils in black skin. They are camouflaged amongst the original nation, causing mischief and shedding blood, making us look bad, causing all of this crime and murders in the black community. They are also ministers, preachers, politicians, influencers, and actors. And they are in the big house because they are masses, black-faced children. So we are plagued with demons. The original nation is demon possessed. And that's why Legion identifies in the book of Mark that there are many demons. Now let's break the word legion down. Legion. Farrakhan's birth name is Louis Eugene Grounds, and he has turned the Nation of Islam backwards. He got rid of the nation's assets. He turned the temples into mosques. He says, don't call devils devils anymore and accept them as our own, when the supreme wisdom lessons clearly identifies that a devil cannot be reformed. So why is Farrakhan doing this? Let's look at Farrakhan's bloodline. Farrakhan's father is Percival Clark, a Caucasian Portuguese Jew, and his mother is a black woman who was raped by Percival Clark and forced to give birth to Farrakhan, who was born named Louis Eugene Grounds. So Farrakhan is a demon because he is the son of a devil. He has black skin from his mother, but the nature and the bloodline of his devil father. So Farrakhan admits that his father is a devil. Farrakhan is Legion, the chief demon. His name is in the word Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, and he has turned the Nation of Islam backwards. And what is Farrakhan saying? Farrakhan says that we ain't going nowhere. When the Abrahamic covenant, which is God's sure and volatile word, sisters and brothers, the Abrahamic covenant identifies that we're going home to Arabia, our promised land. But Farrakhan won't tell us about the Abrahamic covenant. And that's one of the things that the Messiah is doing. But understand that Farrakhan, he's not the seed of Abraham. He is the seed of a devil. So he does not have a part of the Abrahamic covenant. In fact, he despises the covenant. So he says that we ain't going nowhere. When in reality, sisters and brothers, Farrakhan ain't going nowhere. So let's listen to a clip.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadakuddin and I have had disagreement, but his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? if the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent?
All right, sisters and brothers. So what is Farrakhan saying? He doesn't want to leave America, which lines up perfectly with the book of Mark. Farrakhan is begging earnestly not to be sent out of the country. So the unsealed scriptures identifies exactly who Farrakhan is, and it tells us his bloodline. It tells us what he wants, what he longs for, which he wants to stay here in America. And it identifies that the Nation of Islam specifically is demon possessed. And who is possessing the Nation of Islam? You can Google this, sisters and brothers. Louis Farrakhan is possessing the Nation of Islam. He is the chief demon. So the truth is clear, sisters and brothers. And Farrakhan admits himself that his father is a devil. He admits his bloodline. So this is very clear information. So with that, Sister Fatima is going to take us further into our newscast by identifying Farrakhan in the book of 2 Kings.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. In the book 2 Kings, it identifies 2 characters. And those 2 characters are Elijah and Elias. Elijah, who was identified by name in this story, is identified as our messenger, Elijah Muhammad. The character Elias was one of Elijah's ministers, who was a magician. We all know that Farrakhan was a magician, and he was also one of Elijah's ministers. Elias represents Farrakhan. Now, in this story, Elijah was about to depart and go with the Lord. And the Lord is the God, Master Farad Muhammad. It identifies in the story that he would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind. But before this took place, Elijah asked Elias, "What can I do for you before I depart?" Elias asked if he could have a double portion of his spirit. The angel reveals that the 7 spirits are the original nation that was corrupted with demons. And Elijah was preaching to the demons and the saints. And they are both a part of the 7 spirits, sisters and brothers. So when he asked for a double portion of his spirit, he was asking to take over the Nation of Islam and to take Elijah's followers, the demons and the saints. Elijah proceeded to say that Elias has asked a hard thing, but then says to Elias, if he sees him when he departs, then he could have the double portion of his spirit. And if he did not see him, then the request would be denied. Now the angel key shows us that Farrakhan is a part of the original nation that was corrupted, sisters and brothers. The original nation not only identifies as the 7 spirits, they also identify as the 7 eyes. Now, sisters and brothers, pay close attention to the angel key when Elijah departed. He goes up with the God, Master Farad Muhammad. But when he goes up, there's a white horse in that position. And Farrakhan represents this white horse. He also one of the 7 eyes, sisters and brothers. This is why there's an eye over the white horse. Now Elijah goes up to the God on the angel key. and he now covers the eye and the white horse. Now in the story, Elias asks, after the departure of Elijah, where is the God of Elijah? Now remember, sisters and brothers, Elijah told Elias, if you were to see me when I depart, you could have what you requested. And that was a double portion of his spirit. But the angel revealed that he didn't see him because Elijah covered the eye of Farrakhan. And this is why Elias, that represents Farrakhan, asked, where is the God of Elijah? Because he didn't see him. His eye was covered, sisters and brothers. So, sisters and brothers, this story of Elijah and Elias can't be understood without having the angel key. The angel key reveals the truth about Farrakhan, and he didn't get what he requested from our messenger. So this exposes Farrakhan for being a liar. He took over the Nation of Islam and destroyed everything Elijah had done, robbed the members, and filled it up with demons, sisters and brothers, black-faced devils, wolves in sheep's clothing. Farrakhan is a demon. He is one of Massa's children from the rape of the original woman. They look like us. They talk like us. But they are not us, sisters and brothers. And Farrakhan was put in this position to destroy and deceive the original nation.
Thank you, Sister Fatima. Brother David will take us further into our newscast by identifying Farrakhan in the book of Exodus.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. It says not to be deceived by any means, and we are not deceived by Farrakhan. The angel has opened our eyes completely, and we know exactly who Louis Farrakhan is. An FBI informant, a coward, a liar, a man who robbed God and his nation, took the teachings and twisted them once the messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, departed and started teaching Sunniism, which Sunniism is not Islam. So what's that all about? That's because Farrakhan is no good. Exodus even tells you that. We know that he's Aaron, and he even admits that he is. So let's take a look at what Exodus has to say about Aaron in chapter 32, verse 1 through 8. It says, when the people saw that Moses, which is the messenger, that he was so long in coming down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron, which is Farrakhan, and said, come make us gods who will go before us. As for this fellow Moses, who brought us up out of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him. Aaron answered them, take off the gold earrings that your wives, your sons, and your daughters are wearing, and bring them to me. So all the people took off their earrings and brought them to Aaron. He took what they handed him and made it into an idol cast in the shape of a calf, fashioning it with a tool. Now we know that the calf that is being spoken about has been revealed in the Injil as the golden calf, which is Sunniism. So again, Aaron took what they handed him and made it into an idol cast in the shape of a calf, fashioning it with a tool. Then they said, "These are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt." When Aaron saw this, he built an altar in front of the calf and announced, "Tomorrow there will be a festival to the Lord." So the next day, the people rose up early and sacrificed burnt offerings and presented fellowship offerings. Afterward, they sat down to eat and drink and got up to indulge in revelry. Then the Lord, which is the God, Master Farad Muhammad, said to Moses, "Go down, because your people, whom you brought up out of Egypt, have become corrupt." You hear that? Corrupt. They have been quick to turn away from what I commanded them and have made themselves an idol cast in the shape of a calf. They have bowed down to it and sacrificed to it and have said, "These are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt." Well, there you have it, brothers and sisters. Farrakhan exposed. Just add it up. Connect all the dots. You don't have to make up anything, brothers and sisters, when you have the proof. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Brother David. Brother Malik will take us further into our newscast by identifying Farrakhan in the book of Revelations.
Thank you, sister. Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. The chief demon, Louis Farrakhan, is accusing us, the original black man and woman, of being sinful. Louis Farrakhan wants us to atone. Sisters and brothers, Louis Farrakhan wants the original black man and woman to apologize, to ask for reconciliation for us being taken from our land and brought to this strange land, enslaved and afflicted by America in this strange land, dehumanized and labeled 3/5 of a human. Sisters and brothers, that means that we are animals. And these devils of America has treated us like animals for over 400 years. We was not allowed to think. We was not allowed to read or write. And when they finally decided to give us the Bible, they gave it to us upside down. Sisters and brothers, we were murdered in front of our children, decapitated, sodomized, hung, trampled by devils on horseback, beat into submission. And intense fear was installed in us by our slave masters of America. Sisters and brothers, we were made by our slave masters of America to be who we are as a people right now today. Negro bots, a nothing people who are imitating these devils, imitating these devils' lifestyle and their ways, following their sinful nature. Sisters and brothers, we are the product of America, a product of the devils. We are like the manufacturer, the devils, because we are living amongst devils inside the world and system of the devils. So, our manufacturers is the devils, our slave masters of America. So, a devil is not going to produce an angel. A devil is going to produce a devil, a demon, or a Negro bot. Sisters and brothers, you cannot blame the product you can only blame the manufacturer. Sisters and brothers, we are the original man and woman. We are righteous people by nature. However, we're being told to apologize, to reconciliate, to atone, because we're being accused of being sinful by Louis Farrakhan. Sisters and brothers, Louis Farrakhan is spoken of and identified in Revelations chapter 12, verse 10, and it states, "And I heard voice great in the heaven, saying, right now became the salvation and the power and the kingdom of the God of us, and the authority of the Christ of him, because was thrown the accuser of the brothers of us, the accusing them in sight of the God of us of day and night." Sisters and brothers, Louis Farrakhan is the accuser of us, the original black man and woman. Louis Farrakhan is calling us a sinful people. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Brother Malik. Brother Amir will take us further into our newscast by identifying Farrakhan in the book of Malachi.
Thank you, sister. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Here to present Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 9. Verse 8. Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offering. Verse 9. Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Brothers and sisters, sisters and brothers, Farrakhan is the man who robbed God and God's people by action. Know Farrakhan by his works, brothers and sisters. Farrakhan is a direct enemy of Master Farad Muhammad and the messenger of Master Farad Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad. Farrakhan does not represent them at all by action. Farrakhan took the Nation of Islam off the supreme wisdom lessons. Yeah, he hands them out supreme wisdom lessons, but he took them off the supreme wisdom lessons and gave them study guides, brothers and sisters. And the study guides that he gave them were given to Farrakhan by his handler. Farrakhan is an FBI agent, brothers and sisters. Also, Farrakhan is blocking the messenger of the covenant and the message that goes along with the covenant. Farrakhan is pushing the American dream on our nation instead of our vision, which is the Abrahamic covenant, brothers and sisters. Farrakhan despises the Abrahamic covenant because he is not the true seed of Abraham. Farrakhan is the son of a devil. Farrakhan has the sisters out working on the streets, doing fundraisers and charity events to raise him money. Farrakhan is worth $5 million with no job and no businesses to support his wealth of $5 million. Farrakhan has been pimping and using and abusing the sisters by putting them out on the streets to hustle for his no good ass. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad never had the sisters out working or using and abusing them like Farrakhan is doing. Now, as we can see, Farrakhan is cursed with the curse for robbing God and God's people. Farrakhan was disemboweled at 55 years old. Now, clearly you can see that That is a curse, brothers and sisters. He is disemboweled, riding around in a wheelchair, defecating on himself in a bag for his foul behavior. So Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 9 reveals that Farrakhan is the man who robbed God and God's people. So as I come before you, I leave you in the peaceful greetings of Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Brother Amir. Sisters and brothers, the Angel News keeps you informed so that we can safely unite the original nation and make our exodus out of America. We will be back with more. Assalamu alaikum.